Hello, I'm Dr. Eric Berg, and for decades I've had the privilege of helping folks, especially those in their golden years, navigate the often confusing world of health and wellness. Today I want to talk about something I see every single week in my practice, something that's reaching epidemic levels across America, from the sunny coast of California to the quiet towns in the Midwest. It's a silent problem, one that often carries no symptoms until it's dangerously advanced. I'm talking about a fatty liver. Now, what if I told you that the advice you've been given about protecting your liver is not just incomplete, it's fundamentally misleading? What if I told you that the glass of healthy orange juice you had this morning, or the heart-healthy oil you used to cook your eggs, could be contributing more to a fatty liver than a slice of cake or an evening glass of wine? It's a shocking thought, I know. For years you've been told the two big villains are sugar and alcohol. You've diligently cut back on desserts, you've swapped soda for diet versions, maybe you've even given up that nightly beer you used to enjoy. You're doing everything right, yet your doctor might still tell you your liver enzymes are a bit high, or we're seeing some fat accumulation on your liver. It's frustrating, disheartening, and it makes you feel like your own body is working against you. The truth is, while excessive sugar and alcohol are certainly not your liver's best friends, they are often just accomplices, not the masterminds behind the crime. The real culprit is a deeper, more insidious metabolic condition that has been quietly taking over the health of millions of seniors. This condition creates the perfect storm inside your body for fat to be manufactured and stored in your liver day in and day out, even when you think you're eating healthily. Today, I'm going to pull back the curtain on this hidden truth. We're not going to just skim the surface. We're going to dive deep into what's really driving this epidemic. I'll reveal the specific type of sugar that's 100 times worse for your liver than regular table sugar. We'll expose the so-called healthy foods in your pantry that are actually fanning the flames of liver inflammation. And most importantly, I'll show you the missing keys, the vital nutrients your liver is screaming for to heal itself. This isn't about another restrictive diet. It's about understanding your body and giving it what it truly needs to thrive. The journey to reclaiming your liver health, and by extension, your energy, your vitality, and your future starts right now. We need to move beyond the outdated advice that has clearly failed so many. The old approach of simply telling you to lose weight or cut back on sweets is like trying to fix a leaky pipe by just mopping the floor. You're working hard, but you're not addressing the source of the leak. The problem is that this advice doesn't differentiate between the types of foods and the profound impact they have on your hormones, specifically the master hormone of metabolism, insulin. When we talk about fatty liver, particularly non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or NAFLD, we are really talking about a manifestation of a condition called insulin resistance. Think of insulin as a key that unlocks your body's cells to let glucose or blood sugar in for energy. When you constantly have high levels of sugar and certain other foods in your diet, your cells become resistant to the key. They stop listening. Your pancreas, in a panic, pumps out even more insulin to try and force the message through. Now you have a situation where you have high blood sugar and high insulin, a disastrous combination. And where does all that excess sugar go when the cells won't take it? Your liver, your body's ever-patient processing plant, is forced to deal with it. And its primary way of dealing with an overwhelming flood of sugar is to convert it into fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. This is the real starting point of a fatty liver. It's a disease of energy overload managed and magnified by the hormone insulin. Now, you might think, okay, Dr. Berg, so it is sugar. But this is where the first critical distinction comes in, and it's the one most people miss. Not all sugars are created equal in the eyes of your liver. The sugar you put in your coffee, sucrose, is made of two molecules, one glucose and one fructose. Your body's cells, from your brain to your muscles, can use glucose for energy. It's the universal fuel. Fructose, however, is a different beast entirely. Your muscles can't use it. your brain can't use it. With very minor exceptions, nearly 100% of the fructose you consume has to be metabolized by your liver. Your liver is the sole destination for this type of sugar. Now, eating a whole apple from an orchard in Washington State is one thing. The fructose is bound up in fiber, and its release is slow and manageable. But when we consume fructose in a concentrated liquid form, we create a metabolic nightmare. I'm talking about the high fructose corn syrup, or HFCS, that is pumped into thousands of processed foods, from sodas and ketchup to salad dressings and even bread. I'm also talking about seemingly healthy items like agave nectar, which can be up to 90% fructose, and that big glass of orange juice, which is essentially a concentrated dose of sugar and fructose without any of the protective fiber of the whole fruit. To put this in perspective, imagine your liver is a small town mail sorting facility. Glucose is like local mail. It gets distributed all over town to different houses and businesses. Fructose, on the other hand, is like a massive, unexpected shipment of international cargo that gets dumped exclusively at this one small facility. The workers are completely overwhelmed. They can't process it. They can't deliver it. So what do? They start shoving the packages into every available closet and hallway. This is precisely what your liver does with a flood of fructose. It rapidly converts it into fat and stores it right there on site. Studies have shown that a high fructose diet can increase liver fat by over 35% in a matter of weeks. It is the single most potent dietary driver of de novo lipogenesis. So the first and most critical step is to become a detective. Start reading the labels on everything. If you see high fructose corn syrup, put it back on the shelf. Eliminate sugary drinks, including sodas, sweet teas, and especially fruit juices. If you want fruit, eat the whole fruit. Let me share a quick story. I had a patient, a gentleman named Robert from Phoenix, Arizona, in his late 60 seconds. He was pre-diabetic and had a fatty liver. He swore to me he had cut out all desserts. No cake, no ice cream, no cookies. But his liver enzymes were still climbing. After some digging, we found the culprit. Every morning he was drinking a 16-ounce glass of fresh squeezed orange juice, thinking he was doing something wonderful for his vitamin C levels. He was in effect carpet bombing his liver with fructose first thing in the morning. We swapped that juice for a glass of water with lemon, and within 3 months, his liver markers had improved dramatically. The solution is simple, but it requires vigilance. Stop drinking your sugar and be especially wary of fructose. Now, I have to ask, if you're finding this information valuable and it's starting to connect some dots for you, please take a moment and just type the number 1 in the comments below. If this isn't hitting the mark for you, type a 0. Your feedback is incredibly important and helps me create better content for you. Let's move on to the second hidden truth. And this one might be even more shocking because it involves a category of foods that for the last 50 years has been marketed to us as heart healthy. I'm talking about industrial seed oils, often called vegetable oils. This includes corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil, cottonseed oil, safflower oil, and sunflower oil. Back in the 1960 seconds and 70 seconds, a major shift happened in American dietary advice. We were told that saturated fats, like the kind found in butter, lard, and coconut oil, were clogging our arteries, and that we should replace them with polyunsaturated fatty acids, or PUFAs, from these new factory-produced vegetable oils. It sounded scientific, and an entire industry was born. Margarine replaced butter, Crisco replaced lard, and restaurants from coast to coast switched their deep fryers over to these cheaper oils. The problem is, this advice was based on flawed science, and the consequences for our collective metabolic health, and particularly our liver health, have been catastrophic. Here's why. These vegetable oils are incredibly high in a type of polyunsaturated fat called omega-6 fatty acids. Now, omega-6 isn't inherently evil. We need a small amount of it, but our ancestral diet had a ratio of omega-6 to omega-3, the anti-inflammatory fats found in things like fish and flaxseed, of about 1 to 1 or 2 to 1. The modern American diet thanks to the prevalence of these oils in every processed food imaginable, has a ratio closer to 20-1 or even 30-1. This massive imbalance creates a raging storm of inflammation throughout your body. These omega-6 fats are highly unstable. When you heat them, as in cooking or frying, they oxidize and create a cascade of toxic byproducts like acrolein, the same chemical found in cigarette smoke. When you consume them, they get incorporated into your cell membranes, including the membranes of your liver cells, making them fragile, weak, and prone to damage. This is where fatty liver takes a sinister turn. A liver filled with stable saturated fat is not ideal, but it's relatively benign. But a liver filled with unstable, pro-inflammatory polyunsaturated fats from vegetable oils is a ticking time bomb. This constant low-grade inflammation is what transforms simple fatty liver or steatosis into its much more dangerous cousin, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis or NASH. The hepatitis part means inflammation of the liver. NASH is the stage where scar tissue begins to form, leading down the path to fibrosis, cirrhosis, and even liver cancer. Think of it this way. The fructose we talked about is what builds the fat depot in your liver. These inflammatory seed oils are what light the match and set that depot on fire. A perfect example of this is a lovely lady named Carol, a retired school teacher from outside Chicago. She was diagnosed with fatty liver and was terrified. She had thrown out all the butter in her house and replaced it with a popular margarine spread. She cooked her chicken and fish in corn oil because the label said heart healthy. She used light Italian dressing on her salads, not realizing it was primarily soybean oil and high fructose corn syrup. She was unknowingly pouring gasoline on our liver's inflammatory fire every single day. The solution here is a pantry makeover. It's time to go back to the stable, traditional fats our grandparents used. Get rid of the giant plastic jugs of corn, canola, and soybean oil. Replace them with extra virgin olive oil for salads and low-heat cooking. For higher heat cooking, use avocado oil, butter from grass-fed cows, ghee, or even coconut oil. Read the labels on salad dressings, mayonnaise, and packaged snacks. You'll be horrified to see how many of them list soybean or canola oil as the first or second ingredient. Making this one switch from unstable industrial oils to stable natural fats can be one of the most powerful things you do to calm the inflammation in your body and allow your liver to begin healing. I'll pause again and ask for your feedback. If this explanation about healthy oils has been an eye-opener for you, please type the number 1 below. If you feel this isn't relevant or clear, please type 0. I read these comments and they genuinely help me serve you better. Now, for our third and final point, which is arguably the most empowering one. So far, we've talked about what to remove from your diet, the concentrated fructose and the inflammatory oils. But what you add to your diet is just as, if not more, important. You see, your liver is a remarkable, resilient organ. It has an incredible capacity to regenerate and heal, but only if it has the right raw materials to do its job. The problem is that many modern diets, especially the low-fat, low-cholesterol diets that many seniors have been encouraged to follow, are critically deficient in the specific nutrients your liver needs to function properly. One of the liver's many jobs is to process fat. It doesn't just store it, it's supposed to package it up into little transport vehicles called VLDL particles and ship it out to the rest of the body for energy or storage. But to build these transport vehicles, it needs specific building blocks. The single most important nutrient for this process is one you may have never even heard of, choline. Choline is what's known as a lipotropic agent, which literally means it helps the liver metabolize and export fat. Without enough choline, the fat gets stuck in the liver. It comes in, but it can't get out. You can think of choline as the foreman of the liver's shipping department. Without the foreman, the assembly line grinds to a halt and packages fat pile up all over the warehouse floor. Where do you find choline? The most concentrated dietary sources are beef, liver, and egg yolks. Yes, egg yolks, the very food that for 50 years we were told to avoid because of its cholesterol content. This advice, now largely debunked, has inadvertently contributed to the fatty liver epidemic by causing people to become deficient in the one nutrient their liver desperately needs to defat itself. The fear of dietary cholesterol in eggs has been one of the biggest blunders in modern nutritional history. The cholesterol you eat has very little impact on the cholesterol in your blood. Your liver manufactures most of it anyway. Avoiding egg yolks in an attempt to protect your heart has starved your liver of the choline it needs to stay healthy. Along with choline, your liver is ravenous for B vitamins. Think of B vitamins, B2, B3, B6, B12, folate as the spark plugs for all the metabolic engines in your liver. They are cofactors in hundreds of enzymatic reactions needed for detoxification, energy production, and fat metabolism. Many people, especially as they get older and their digestive function declines, don't absorb these vitamins as well. Furthermore, processed foods are often stripped of their natural B vitamins. So, what's the actionable solution? It's wonderfully simple. Start by reintroducing choline-rich foods. If you've been eating egg white omelets, it's time to put the yolks back in. Aim for 2 or 3 whole pasture-raised eggs a day. If you're adventurous, a small serving of grass-fed beef liver once a week is a nutritional powerhouse unlike any other. For B vitamins, one of the best sources is nutritional yeast, which has a cheesy, nutty flavor, and you can sprinkle it on your food. Leafy green vegetables like spinach and kale, as well as grass-fed beef, are also excellent sources. I remember a client, a woman from Austin, Texas, named Susan, who had been on a very low-fat chicken and broccoli type of diet for years. She was slim, but her fatty liver was getting worse. We didn't change her calories at all. We just had her start her day with 3 whole eggs cooked in butter and had a big spinach salad with olive oil dressing to her lunch. In 6 months, a follow-up ultrasound showed a significant reduction in liver fat. Her body finally had the tools it needed to start the repair process. So, one last time, let me know if this was helpful. If learning about the crucial role of nutrients like choline and B vitamins has given you a new sense of hope and a plan of action, please type a 1 in the comments. If not, a 0 is perfectly fine. Your honest feedback is a gift. So let's bring this all together. We've covered a lot of ground today, and my goal was to shatter some long-held myths and replace them with empowering truths. We've learned that the real driver of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease isn't just sugar or alcohol in general, but a metabolic condition of insulin resistance supercharged by a flood of dietary fructose that overwhelms your liver's processing capacity. We've uncovered the deception of heart-healthy vegetable oils and seen how these unstable inflammatory fats can turn a simple fatty liver into a dangerously inflamed one. And most importantly, we've discovered that our livers are often simply starving for the essential building blocks they need to heal, particularly the fat-moving nutrient choline in the metabolic spark plugs, the B vitamins. This isn't about blame or regret for past choices. It's about understanding the real science of your body so you can make brilliant choices moving forward. There's a beautiful lesson in all of this that extends far beyond liver health. For so long, we've been taught to fear food, to fear fat, to fear cholesterol, to fear salt. This fear has led us down a path of eating processed, factory-made food-like substances that have made us sicker. The path back to health is not one of fear, but of wisdom. It's about embracing real, whole foods that have nourished humans for millennia. It's about trusting the intelligence of your own body and giving it the high-quality fuel and materials it needs to perform the miracles it does every single day. Taking control of your health in your senior years is the ultimate act of self-love and independence. It's what gives you the energy to play with your grandchildren, the clarity to learn a new hobby, and the vitality to travel and savor every moment of the life you've worked so hard to build. So here's my call to action for you today. Don't just let this be interesting information. Turn it into action. Your first step is simple. Go to your pantry or your refrigerator right now. Pick up one item, a bottle of salad dressing, a box of crackers, a container of coffee creamer, and read the label. Look for high fructose corn syrup and look for soybean, corn, or canola oil. If you see them, make a commitment to find a healthier replacement next time you're at the store. That's it. One small, powerful step. And I want to hear from you. In the comments below, please share which of these 3 truths was the biggest aha moment for you. Was it the fructose connection, the danger of vegetable oils, or the missing nutrients? Sharing your experience helps everyone in this community learn and grow. If this information has opened your eyes and you believe it could help others, please click that subscribe button and the little bell to be notified of my future videos. And finally, please share this with someone you care about, a spouse, a friend, a sibling. This knowledge is too important to keep to yourself. It has the power to change the course of someone's health and give them back the vibrant life they deserve. Thank you for your time and your attention. Be well.